When I came back from studying abroad, my childhood sweetheart had turned into what people now called the Beijing Buddha boy, with prayer beads wrapped around his wrist. I thought he'd seen through the vanity of the world and quietly put away his little crush. But our parents had other plans. They wanted to set us up for marriage. The night I refused, he grabbed my wrist, shaking with anger. "Screw that Buddha boy crap. These beads? They're the charm you got me when you were 16. They scared off so many girls, Belle. Don't you think you owe me for that?" Jason blew up because of those beads on his wrist in an interview. I found out just as I was about to defend my thesis. I was nervously scrolling through short videos to relax when his clip popped up. I zoomed in, stared for a few seconds before I was sure. Jason sat there, sprawled on the sofa, legs apart, answering questions with lazy ease. His fingers were idly rubbing the beads. The camera even zoomed in. The top bead was worn from use. At the end, the host asked, "I notice you're very fond of those beads, Mr. Jason. Do they mean something special?" Jason just smiled without answering, acting all aloof. I snorted, switched apps, and texted him. "Seriously? You're building a persona now, just to promote a game?" Jason shot back. I saved the clip and sent it over. "Don't tell me you've really transcended worldly desires and decided to marry code for life? Wow, must be true love. The paint's rubbed off the beads already. Not gonna lie, that bracelet looks cheap. You're a CEO now. Stop being so stingy." He replied, "Maybe worry about your thesis first." A verbal kill shot. The momentary ease I felt from gossip vanished, nerves flooding back. After my defense, I was packing up to book a flight when my best friend Julia called. Somehow the talk drifted to Jason. Jason's a whole new level now. The gaming company he started back in college went public this year. His net worth skyrocketed. She was reading headlines like a news anchor. I brushed it off. It's only been a year. How much could he really have changed? Going on shows, of course he has to play a persona. Totally normal. In my memory, he was still just a decent-looking, code-obsessed tech nerd. That's not the point. The point is the fans love it. Do you know what they call him now? What? The Beijing Buddha boy. Like those novel characters with prayer beads. Untouchable? Pure as snow? Julia said. Exactly. I couldn't hold back my laugh. Jason and I grew up together. He was sharp, quick to say the right things to please adults, and always top of the class. My parents never stopped praising him in front of me, which only made me resent him more. Until right before college entrance exams, when my grades were tanking. My parents packed me and my homework off to Jason's place, hoping he'd tutor me. Back then, I was extra sleepy and forgetful. Every time he explained a math problem, I'd start dozing off. Just as I was about to nod off completely, he'd tap my head with his pen cap. "Did you get it?" I'd jolt awake, nodding mindlessly. He'd stifle a laugh, then explain it back to me. I'd sit there in silence for a few seconds, guilty, before glancing up at him. He'd sigh and go over it again. Thanks to him, I made it into a decent business school in China. But once Jason started building his gaming company, every time I went home, my mum wouldn't stop nagging in my ear, praising Jason. I couldn't take it anymore, and decided to push myself and aim for grad school. But the competition for a master's program in China was brutal. One night, I filled out applications for schools abroad instead. I thought studying overseas would be easy, full of travel and freedom. The reality? I couldn't understand the language. Assignments piled up. And the food was terrible. Seriously. Who said grad school abroad was easy? Easy for who? I was falling apart. Julia heard and called me from across the ocean to comfort me. "Hang in there, Isabel. When you're back, you'll inherit the family fortune." I'd just pulled an all-nighter finishing a task my advisor dumped on me, and muttered weakly, "Only if I survive to inherit it." "And Jason?" she teased. "Don't you want to keep up with him?" Julia knew me too well. My drive to study hard wasn't just about pride, it was about him too. I wanted to be good enough for Jason. But who could have guessed he'd go and slip on those beads, acting like he'd renounced worldly ties. The day I flew back, I spotted Jason at the airport. Just a year apart, and he'd changed so much. The boyish air was gone, replaced with calm confidence. In a tailored suit, he carried the quiet pressure of someone in power. My heart beat faster. I rolled my suitcase over. He took it naturally. "Why are you here to pick me up?" I was sure I hadn't told him my flight info. "Asked Julia," he said easily. "Someone got all worked up when I teased them the other day, so I figured I'd make it up." I blinked, stunned. Then it hit me he meant the time he'd made that crack about my thesis defense. I'd been too nervous to reply, then forgot. He thought I was mad? I gave him a haughty glance, then dropped my eyes, and there they were, the beads on his wrist. "How come I've never seen you wear those before?" He gave me a look I couldn't read. His Adam's apple shifted. "Started wearing them after you left." I blinked. "So you really did renounce the world?" He dodged my question and threw it back. "What do you think?" How was I supposed to know? I met his eyes and saw only a trace of helplessness. I smiled and changed the subject. "I heard your company went public." "Not bad," his lips quirked. "Compared to you, I'd say I'm doing pretty well." Then he added, "Your folks told me you almost didn't graduate over there. Master's programs abroad are only a year. If it were you, you'd have struggled too." I shot back. He shrugged it off. "I graduated and went straight to running a company. Didn't have to suffer like you." Damn it. Had to rub it in, my fists clenched. "Jason, would it kill you not to mock me for once?" I punched him in the arm. "Forget it. I'll grab a cab myself." "Hey, don't." He hooked his arm lightly around me. "My bad, princess." He hadn't changed at all. Still as infuriating as ever. All that Buddha boy nonsense. Above it all, pure image. Back home, my parents hosted a dinner with family friends. Jason and I had grown up together, and our families were close. At the table, Jason chatted smoothly. He could talk business with my dad and beauty products with my mum. Everyone liked him more by the minute. Near the end, his mum pulled me aside and pressed a jade bracelet into my hand. "Belle's back from abroad now. I think it's time we talk about their marriage." "Marriage? What marriage?" I froze. Jason, on the other hand, looked perfectly calm. "Exactly. They grew up together. Their bond is strong. Why don't we pick a date for the engagement?" My mum chimed in, agreeing. I was stunned. What backroom deal had they struck without me? Jason didn't object at all. Just as he was about to nod, I cut in. "No." The whole table turned to stare at me, especially Jason. His narrow eyes darkened, displeasure flickering there. The air went stiff. "Belle, what's wrong? Weren't you the one who used to like Jason the most?" Jason's mum asked gently. "Yeah, you even insisted you wanted to marry him back then." That must have been something I said back in kindergarten. The relatives at the table jumped into another round of childhood stories. Words from kids playing house, how could they count? I let out a long sigh in my head. "Well," I coughed lightly, cutting them off before they dug into who carried me as a baby. "I just got back. I don't even have a real job yet. And Jason and I are both busy. We hardly keep in touch. I think we should take some time to see how things go first." The table fell silent again. I swallowed nervously and asked weakly, "Is that okay?" "Of course." Uncle Smith laid down the verdict. "They're not kids anymore. Let them figure it out. If it really doesn't work, there's no need to force it." Then he shifted gears. "But Belle, since you just got back, do you have any career plans?" "Not yet." Perfect timing. Didn't Jason's company just go public? They need people. Uncle Smith waved his hand and turned to my dad. "Let Belle go train there. That way she'll get some experience and be ready to take over from you one day." "Exactly, and it'll give them more time to talk and grow closer." All the parents nodded in agreement. Wonderful. Everyone was on board except us, the actual people involved. After dinner, I went to the restroom to fix my makeup. When I came out, Jason was waiting. Hands in his pockets, head tilted down. He actually looked like one of those cold CEOs who've been wounded by love. "Why are you still here?" I asked. He glanced up, slipping back into his usual lazy air. "Taking you home." "Seriously?" I teased. "I just refused to get engaged to you, and you're still being this considerate?" He clicked his tongue. "Fine, I'll leave then." No, no, no. If Mr. Jason is willing to give me a ride, I'm on it." On the road, I busied myself with his car playlist, griping as I fiddled. "What kind of music is this?" He smirked. "Then go ahead and change it." Soft music started to play. The car stopped at a red light. Silence filled the space. I counted the seconds this light was way too long. "About what my parents said tonight. Don't take it to heart," I said. "They just think you're too good." A few beats later, his voice came out low and rough, tinged with something heavy. "Don't take it to heart?" "Yeah, I don't want to marry so young and lose my freedom, play housewife and mom. It's not like that. Marrying me wouldn't tie you down. You'd still be able to do anything you want." "Yeah, right." I shot him a look. "You were just crowned the real-life Beijing Buddha boy. If the next headline is your engagement, the internet will eat you alive, and they'll drag me into it too." "Beijing Buddha boy?" Jason frowned, confused. I raised a brow. "You really don't know?" He said nothing, restarted the car. The quiet Bentley rolled into the night. When we reached my place, I didn't get out right away. Instead, I opened TikTok and searched his tag. It was all marketing accounts. I clicked a random one and showed him the comments. "See? That interview clip from when your company went public blew up. Everyone's calling you the real-life Buddha boy because of those beads on your wrist." He scrolled through without a word, frown deepening. Before he could morph into a grumpy old man, I snatched his phone back. "If you want to look, use your own." I unbuckled my seatbelt. "I'm heading in." Just as I reached for the door handle, he caught my wrist. I turned, startled, and saw his hand trembling. "Do you buy into this?" I asked cautiously. "It's whatever." "Isabel," his voice dropped, fingers knocking lightly against my head. "Sometimes I just want to crack your skull open and see what's inside. All this fuss over a trending joke." I sighed inwardly, forcing a bit of comfort. "It's just a meme. High society princes in those novels all wear beads now. You just fit the bill. It'll blow over soon." But instead, he swore. "To hell with that Buddha boy crap. These beads? You got them for me when you were 16, as a charm for safety." I froze, eyes wide. He gave a crooked smile, his tone certain. "I knew you wouldn't remember." Wow, he really did know me. I gave an awkward laugh. "It's been 5, 6 years. Forgetting isn't that crazy, right?" "Like hell it isn't." He was getting worked up. "Isabel, you only ever gave me one set like this. How could you not remember? We'd exchanged countless gifts over the years. How was I supposed to remember every single one?" His knack for turning the tables was unreal. Seeing me go silent, he pressed harder. "These beads have kept plenty of women away. Belle, don't you think you should take responsibility?" "You're ridiculous." After a pause, I tried to wash my hands of it. "Even if I did give them to you, I never told you to wear them." He hesitated for a moment, then spoke again, eyes more earnest. "No, I wanted to, because they're from you. After you left, every business partner kept trying to throw women at me. I wanted them to know I already had someone I cared about. So the point isn't the beads, it's you, Belle. I'm not the so-called Buddha boy they talk about." I froze, even forgot to breathe for a second. When I came back to myself, the streetlight overhead had gone out, plunging the car into darkness. In that stillness, I could hear both our breaths. After a long moment, I found my voice. "So you like—" "Yes, I like you." That night, I dreamed of where those beads came from. It was the summer after my first year of high school. Our families had planned a hike together. Halfway up, I couldn't go any farther, so I rested at a small pavilion. That's when I noticed another path. Curiosity pulled me along until I found a temple built right on the cliff's edge. It was tiny, its bricks and tiles cracked, worn down by time. Inside the main hall sat a monk in meditation. His robe, once saffron, had faded to pale from countless washes. His lips were chapped, fingers rolling a strand of beads. He told me, "This isn't the right path up the mountain. It's a dead end." I was young, didn't care. I'm here for the view, and this place is more unique. Since this mountain opened to tourists last year, you're the first to say that. Most people complain when they realize they took the wrong way. Hiking's tiring, after all. He said we must have been fated, and gave me his beads. Later, when I doubled back to meet up with Jason, I found him calling from the pavilion. The signal up there was bad, and I hadn't checked my phone. He was frantic. "I just went to buy water, and you disappear? Can you stop wandering off?" His tone was unusually sharp. I held my ground, unwilling to admit I'd strayed. "I wasn't wandering. I went to get you a charm for safety." "Why are you blaming me?" He glanced at the beads and instantly backed down. I'd felt guilty then, and soon forgot about it. Never thought Jason would treasure them like that. I'd even complained about their poor quality. God, what was I doing? That sudden confession the other night, I still hadn't processed it. I had no idea how to respond. So I avoided Jason for a few days, until Mom called me home for dinner. I couldn't say no, so I got myself together and went back to the old house. The moment I stepped inside, the familiar scent of roses hit me. Mom adored roses. When she bought the place, she had a gardener design a whole rose garden. It was peak bloom now, the air thick with fragrance. "Belle's back. I just learned a new dish. Come taste it for me." She set the plate down in front of me, eyes shining with expectation. I looked down at the glossy, fragrant cola chicken wings and asked casually, "Where's Dad?" Her smile faltered for a second, then returned. "Working late." I looked up at her, silent. Her smile slipped, awkwardness creeping in. "He's seeing that woman again, isn't he?" She pressed her lips together, saying nothing that was answer enough. I sighed, helpless. "Mom, if you know, why still cook for him? Do things you don't even like." She was quiet for a few seconds. "Because, Belle, it's all I can do." My parents' marriage was a classic business alliance. In families like ours, my mom had been groomed from childhood to be the perfect heiress. Marriage was her final contribution to the family. After that, she lost her own identity. To everyone else, she was just Mrs. Lopez. Her whole life revolved around the household. When she discovered Dad's affair, she took half a month to process it, then forgave him. She used to love roses, but from then on, she never received another. Once you're married, the companies are tied together. Divorce is the worst deal. Add me into the mix. And Mom chose to endure. I felt both sad and powerless. Enough about me. Mom broke into my thoughts. "I hear from Jason you still haven't started at his company, and he can't reach you. What's going on?" I curled my lip. "Because you all had to bring up marriage at dinner." I paused. "And then he confessed to me." My mom's eyes lit up. "Isn't that a good thing?" "I can tell you like him too." "Yeah, I didn't deny it. Then, but Mom." I cut her off, serious. "I don't want to marry him. At least not right now." "Why not?" She was puzzled. "Jason's outstanding. Comes from a good family. And most importantly, you two like each other. He is outstanding. But what about me?" I let out a self-deprecating laugh. "I'm average talent-wise, not hardworking enough. The only thing that matches him is my family background. He may like me now, but who's to say he'll still like me after marriage? If he meets someone more talented, more appealing, what then? So until I can stand as his equal, I won't consider marriage. The kind of love I want is he's great, but I'm not far behind. Even if one day we split, I won't be left helpless because I can't survive on my own. I want enough confidence to never compromise out of weakness." "You're right," my mom sighed. "I wasn't thinking it through. I picked up my chopsticks, ready to taste her new dish. Cola chicken wings. Then she spoke suddenly. Jason? I turned, startled, and there he was. What are you doing here? He wore a camel coat over a black shirt, looking more relaxed than a few days ago. But the shadows under his eyes gave him away he hadn't been sleeping well. He sat down, casually. Auntie invited me for dinner. Jason said he couldn't reach you, so when you said you were coming home, I told him to join us. Fair enough. He really couldn't. After his sudden confession that night, I'd muted his messages. Didn't know how to reply, so I hadn't at all. You two talk. I'll check on the soup. My mom slipped out, leaving us alone. When did you get here? Just now. Oh, so he hadn't overheard what I'd said earlier. I quietly exhaled. His tone hesitated. Why didn't you answer my texts? I pouted, annoyed. Because you suddenly... I was just clearing up a rumor that night. I blinked. Huh? You thought I wore beads so people called me Buddha boy? I was clarifying, not confessing. He added, don't overthink it. You don't have to respond. Just like that, the whole speech I'd rehearsed for days went up in smoke. I froze, embarrassed. Or is ignoring me your way of dodging work? His voice slipped back into that lazy, irritating tone. I clicked my tongue, fists clenching under the table. Of course not. I said I'd go, and I will. Good. He didn't sound impressed. Then come to the office tomorrow. 8. Sharp. HR will set you up. Why wouldn't I? Great, he said crisply. Report at 8. I'll have HR handle your onboarding. Damn. Baited by reverse psychology again. And Jason didn't give me any special treatment. He put me in as his executive assistant. I had to shadow him through endless meetings every day. Whatever discomfort I'd had vanished under the grind of work. One afternoon near closing time, Jason called on the internal line. There's a video conference coming up. Sit in. It'll run about 90 minutes. Got it, Mr. Jason. When I hung up, I sighed deeply. Another sit-in? Jessica, the assistant at the next desk, smirked. I nodded. No wonder you're the boss's favorite. Getting hands-on training straight from him. Her sarcasm dripped. I frowned, uneasy. Jason had 2 assistants before me. Jessica, who handled his daily schedule and apparently made great coffee, and another for department coordination. So, yeah, Jessica went on. But whether you've got the chops is another story. You know, if you land this project, we'll have funding for the next game. But if you screw it up... My hand tightened on the mouse. Enough. I smiled lightly. And what does that have to do with you? What? Whether I fail or not, this is Jason's task for me. Who are you to comment? I said it evenly, watching her face darken, and felt a flicker of satisfaction. I know you resent me parachuting in. Too bad. Suck it up. You! She took a few deep breaths. How dare you talk to me like that? Do you know who I am? I arched a brow. Nope. I'm the one Jason insisted on keeping. He can't do without me. He only drinks my coffee. She looked smug. As long as I whisper something in his ear, you're done. Wow. I stayed calm. Talk like that and someone might mistake you for the boss's wife. I paused, then added, or is that how you see yourself? The jab hit home. She went red, chest heaving, but nothing came out. Finally, flustered, she grabbed her bag and stormed out. Carlos at the next desk sighed. You didn't need to provoke her. I shrugged. What about her? Jason does treat her well, he said, swiveling toward me. She only stayed because he personally told HR to keep her. I stayed quiet, letting him continue. I'm Jason's junior from college. Been here since graduation. Other than his childhood sweetheart, Jessica's the only one he's shown special treatment to. Really? So, maybe steer clear of her. Carlos meant well, but his words hit me hard. I'd never considered how I'd feel if Jason's attention shifted to someone else. The thought alone left me reeling. During the meeting, I was swamped by dense English and clunky jargon. My listening was fine, but all the gaming terms tripped me up. Jason, though he was fast, sharp, switching gears in a second, negotiating fluently in a second language. His accent leaned British, his voice lower than usual, unexpectedly smooth. Maybe he didn't care if I got it right, but thanks to Jessica's comments, I did. Afterward, instead of clocking out, I stayed to journey my notes into a document. Still here? I turned, startled. Jason was suddenly beside me, glancing at my screen. I pressed my lips together, at a loss. "Didn't get it, huh?" he asked. My mood was sour, so I just muttered, "Yeah." He scanned my notes, then dragged Jessica's chair over. The wheels screeched across the floor, loud in the quiet office. "I'll teach you." "Don't." My tone was sharp. He looked surprised. "So you can handle it yourself?" My glare snapped at him. "Even if I can't, I don't want you teaching me." He chuckled. "Why so mad?" I bit my lip, hesitated, then blurted what was really on my mind. "Who knows if you've taught someone else like this?" "I have," he said. Before I could explode, he added, "Back in high school, I taught a certain idiot. It took me a second to register." "Jason!" I shot up. "You're the idiot!" All right. I'm the idiot." He smoothly picked up my printed project file, then let this idiot share his thoughts. I slammed back into my seat. For a moment, it felt like high school again. Me, frustrated, him leaning over to explain. Only now, the setting was his office, not his bedroom. And this time, he wasn't wearing glasses. When he leaned closer to the screen, I could feel his breath on my ear, the warmth of his arms seeping through his shirt against me. It made me restless. Worse was the thought he might have done this with Jessica too. "So? Get it now?" The familiar question pulled me back. I paused a few seconds. "No." He laughed softly, breath brushing my ear. "Then forget it." He tugged gently at my arm. "Am I overworking you?" I said nothing. He went on anyway. "There's an auction later. Come with me, clear your head." "No." My tone was stiff. "Go yourself. I'm getting drinks with Julia." The bar was dim, mellow music drifting. It clashed with my mood. I sat down, drained the fresh drink in one go, face blank. "What's up, princess?" Julia tried to stop me. Too late. "Weren't you all happy a few days ago?" Jason confessed. "You started working at his company. Why the sudden gloom?" "Don't even start," I groaned. "There's this female assistant at Jason's company. He only drinks coffee she makes, and he personally insisted she stay." I ticked off his sins on my fingers, and another male assistant said Jason really treats her well. Meanwhile, I've been killing myself with overtime for 2 weeks straight, and she clocks out right on time every day. What the hell likes me, but gives special treatment to another woman? Julia was stunned, scrambling for an excuse for him. "Well, maybe Jason has his reasons?" "Him?" I curled my lips. "Don't tell me it's because I went abroad. So he found a stand-in or something." Julia had no idea how to comfort me, so she just kept me from drinking too much. But I was a total lightweight. 1 glass was enough to knock me out. That's why I didn't notice Jason calling. By the time he showed up, I was slumped at the bar, senses heightened, staring at the bartender, dizzy. I stared, and suddenly the face in front of me turned into Jason's. "Why do you look so much like Jason?" The man froze, then said helplessly, "Belle." "Hmm?" Even his voice matched. I reached up to push his face back to normal, but instead, smack! I'd hit him right across the cheek. "You're drunk," he sighed softly. "Stop messing around. I'll take you home." He scooped me up, the world spinning, his familiar laundry detergent scent filling my nose. Next thing I knew, we were at his place. I blinked, realized where we were, and turned to leave. "I'm not going in," Jason asked gently. "Why not?" "Because this isn't my home. It's mine. You've had too much, and there's no one to take care of you. I can't just leave you." "Still not going in." I pointed at the door. Who knows if Jessica's been here? Jessica? He frowned. What does she have to do with this? I kept my face stiff, saying nothing. No one's been here, except my mom once in a while. Fine. Reluctantly, I stepped in. His place had an open kitchen, and right there on the counter sat a coffee machine. I staggered over and tried to grind beans, but my hands were too weak. Jason came back with honey water, only to find me glaring at a handful of beans. You want coffee, but you're drunk. Honey water will make you feel better. I'll make you coffee tomorrow. Not for me. I shook my head. For you. Me? You're not allowed to drink Jessica's coffee. It clicked for him. So you're upset today because of Jessica? Yeah. Nothing to hide. I admitted it outright. Jason, is Jessica special to you? Why do you only drink the coffee she makes? She told you that? I nodded. His brow furrowed, clear displeasure on his face. Belle, it's not like that. His expression turned serious. Jessica was my mum's student. I kept her around, out of respect for my mum. She manages my daily schedule. If she makes me coffee, I drink it. That doesn't mean I only drink hers. Then why does she have so little work? My voice wavered, sadness creeping in. I'm drowning in overtime every day while she clocks out on time. I envy her so much, because I don't want her involved in my private life. Once she finishes her tasks, she goes home. He touched my cheek, voice soft. It's my fault. I shouldn't have loaded you with so much. I nodded. But you still treat her like she's special. And she likes you. That's my oversight. His tone was coaxing. Tomorrow I'll have her resign. Okay? Okay. I didn't hesitate. Then I'll forgive you this time. But no next time. Never again. He paused, leaned closer, locking eyes with me. Belle, are you jealous? I blinked, staring back. The misunderstanding gone. The air between us warmed. My throat went dry. Belle. Suddenly his hand covered my eyes. His voice, rougher now. Confused, I shifted my eyes beneath his cool fingertips. Don't look at me like that. I pulled his hand down. Yes, I was jealous. His body stiffened, Adam's apple bobbing. His voice still hoarse. I rose on my toes, but my weak legs made me stumble straight into his arms. To him, it must have looked like I was throwing myself at him. He caught me quickly. Before he could react, I leaned on his strength and brushed a kiss against the corner of his lips. I was about to pull away when his arm tightened, his other hand cupping the back of my head, pulling me into a deeper kiss. He was just as unpracticed as me, our lips clumsy, unskilled. Sorry, I mumbled first. I'm not good at this, he chuckled. That's fine. We'll practice more. Just like that, the alcohol haze lifted. Sitting on the sofa, I felt shy in a way I hadn't in years. So you went drinking because of Jessica? My eyes dropped, fingers fidgeting. Yeah. Why didn't you just ask me directly? I glanced at him suspiciously. Was he baiting me? When I stayed quiet, he didn't push, just pulled my hand into his and made me look at him. Belle, he said seriously, I want you to come to me. Don't learn about me through others. It's because... My words faltered. Jessica sounded so certain, and Carlos said you treated her well. I didn't know how to ask. They sounded certain when they called me Buddha Boy too. Even now, he couldn't resist teasing me. I took a deep breath. That's different. That was a joke. This I had no right to question you. He smiled. So do you want to? My heart skipped. I knew exactly what he meant. But still, I shook my head. Handle your own mess first. Jessica was dismissed for negligence and lack of focus. She stormed in to confront me as I sat there, nursing a hangover with a thermos. What tricks did you pull? I arched a brow. What do you think? Jason's mum is my teacher. You, someone like you, even if you seduced him, you're not worthy of stepping into his family. Wow, I'm terrified. I tilted my chin at Jason, who had just walked in. Jason, am I not worthy of entering your house? He smirked faintly and said, I'd be thrilled. Jessica's eyes went red. Jason, you used to treat me so well. Why, just because of her, do you fire me? Jason frowned. If I recall, I kept you out of respect for my mother. I've never blurred boundaries with you. As for her, she's my girlfriend. You threatened her and spread lies about us. I was being kind, letting you resign voluntarily. Maybe it was the word girlfriend that cut deepest. She glared daggers at me. I smiled sweetly. Sorry, but your daydream about being the boss's wife ends today. Jessica left, unwilling but defeated. Girlfriend? I teased Jason. When did I agree to that? Then let me rephrase. He buried his face in my neck. Belle, can I be your boyfriend? Like, officially. Give me a title. Life felt like high school again. I always had more to learn, and Jason was always there to back me up. Soon after, he wanted me to fully take on the project I'd only shadowed before. Jessica's words echoed in my head, and I hesitated. Isn't this too risky for me? Maybe give me smaller projects first. Jason refused. Belle, I believe in you. You should believe in yourself. And if something goes wrong, I'm here. He figured since I'd have to handle big projects eventually, I might as well start while he could still guide me. With his trust and encouragement, I threw myself in wholeheartedly. At this point, assistant wasn't the right word anymore. He paired me with team leaders, who'd each closed multi-million-dollar deals. Meanwhile, he started recruiting openly. He hired a male assistant highly capable in every aspect. When Jessica heard, she ran straight to Smith's house to complain to Mrs. Smith. Jason and I happened to be there for dinner. Jessica walked in as I sat with my laptop, handling urgent work. Jason brought over cherries, feeding me casually. Mrs. Smith had no idea about the drama with Jessica, so she introduced us cheerfully. This is Jessica, my student. Mrs. Smith, a lifelong bookworm pampered by her husband, had recently started a PhD in psychology just to pass the time. She'd never dealt with the scheming of the business world. And this is Isabel, Jason's girlfriend. Mrs. Smith smiled as she introduced me. Jessica's eyes went wide, clearly blindsided by my existence. I greeted her with a smile, as if nothing had ever happened. Mrs. Smith chatted with us, mostly about Jason and me. These two were so mischievous as kids, she laughed. Always running off. This villa community is huge. We'd lose them all the time. Later, in school, Jason would act tough but was soft inside. He stayed up late every night making notes. I wondered why he always got perfect scores. Then, a few days later, I found the same notes with Belle. I didn't know what Jessica thought, but judging by how pale she looked, it couldn't have felt good. I popped a cherry in my mouth, juice making me squint, then pointed at Jason and told Jessica, "Did I never mention? He's my childhood sweetheart." Before dinner, Mrs. Smith invited Jessica to stay. She waved it off and left in a hurry. I saw her out. She muttered that I was lucky. I shook my head. It's not luck. I've just never reached too high. Ambition is good, but it has to be realistic. At dinner, Jason asked Mrs. Smith, almost offhand, if she knew why Jessica had come. Mrs. Smith shot him a look. Your mother may be old, but she's not blind. If you can't handle your own mess, don't expect me to clean it up. I couldn't hold back a laugh. I worked on that project for nearly 6 months. Finally, it wrapped up perfectly. In the meantime, I joined plenty of big and small deals, learning from people of all ages and backgrounds. I gained a lot. On the day it closed, our team threw a celebration banquet. I couldn't refuse, so I had a couple drinks, then slipped out. Jason was waiting downstairs. Why didn't you go in? Didn't want to make them uncomfortable. He leaned closer, sniffing. Didn't you say no drinking? I grinned. We've been grinding for half a year. Gotta celebrate a little. Then how about your boyfriend take you out to celebrate? My tolerance had always been bad. With the heater on and the car moving smoothly, I dozed off. When I woke, we were climbing a mountain. Where are we going? I blinked at the scenery, confused. Awake? He asked, eyes on the road. I heard there might be auroras tonight. Auroras? In Beijing? That's only at the Arctic. You never know, he said with a smile. Worth a shot. Just for that tiny chance, we waited at the mountaintop. If we see it, jackpot. If not, we'll catch the sunrise. I hadn't even finished before a faint streak lit the horizon, growing clearer. It was real an aurora. Belle, look! Jason's voice shook with excitement. Even the aurora's celebrating your success. In the rush of wind, I leaned against the car door and kissed him soft, lingering, quiet.